Nobody on that crew saw it coming. On April 1st, 1984, the day before his 45th birthday, Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father during an argument at the family home in Los Angeles. The plane never made it off the island, and just like that, one of the most extraordinary voices in the history of R&B music was gone. She was not the first. She was not the last.
I need your love, and I won't bring no pain.
Because for as long as soul music has existed, greatness and tragedy have moved together like they were written in the same song. The biggest stages, the loudest crowds, the brightest lights, and then, and without warning, silence. Hit subscribe and drop a like for R&B Wonders. Because today we are going deep into 12 of the most heartbreaking stories in soul music history. Number 1, Aaliyah.
Boy, I've been watching you like the hawk.
She was the definition of cool, effortlessly smooth, hauntingly beautiful, and dangerously talented.
In the sky, that fly, where you are my prey.
Aaliyah Dana Houghton stepped into the music world as a teenager and immediately made it clear she was no ordinary artist. She moved like water. Every lyric, every step, every frame of every video felt like it was sculpted from something divine.
Open heads and know that one of these days.
Born in Brooklyn and raised in Detroit, Aaliyah burst onto the scene at just 15 years old with her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. But it was her sophomore release, One in a Million, that announced her arrival as a true superstar.
We gon' go get up, probably talk on the phone, but she
Blending R&B, hip-hop, and electronic textures in ways nobody had heard before. Timbaland and Missy Elliott helped craft her signature futuristic sound, and the world leaned in.
I don't know if that's good. I've been holding back this secret.
Her peak came with the 2000 film Romeo Must Die and the smash single Try Again, the first song ever to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 based solely on airplay.
From you, I probably shouldn't tell it, but if I
She was also stepping boldly into acting with Queen of the Damned and was preparing to headline the Matrix sequels. On August 25th, 2001, Aaliyah and 8 members of her team boarded a small plane in the Bahamas after wrapping the music video for Rock the Boat.
let you know, you can tell me
The plane was overloaded. Moments after takeoff, it crashed. She was 22 years old. Aaliyah's influence on R&B, pop, and visual artistry is immeasurable.
Are you responsible?
She redefined what a black woman could be in music. Ethereal yet fierce, soft yet powerful. Artists from Beyoncé to Rihanna to Drake have called her their blueprint. She left too soon, but she changed everything. Number 2, Otis Redding.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Before Otis Redding, soul music was already powerful. After Otis Redding, it became something sacred.
I left my home in Georgia.
Born in Dawson, Georgia in 1941, Otis had a voice that felt ancient, like it carried every ounce of pain, joy, and longing that the American South had ever produced.
Headed for the Frisco Bay.
Raw, aching, absolutely undeniable. He signed with Volt Records and began releasing a torrent of soul classics. These Arms of Mine, Mr. Pitiful, Respect.
'Cause I've had nothing to live for.
Yes, the song Aretha Franklin later made iconic was written by Otis. He was the king of Southern soul, and the world was beginning to take notice on a massive scale.
It look like nothing's gonna come my way. So
His breakthrough to mainstream audiences came at the Monterey International Pop Festival in June 1967, where he stunned a predominantly white rock audience into a standing ovation.
I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay.
And music critics said it was one of the greatest live performances they had ever witnessed. He was on the verge of superstardom. Then on December 10th, 1967, his private plane plunged into the icy waters of Lake Monona in Wisconsin.
Watching the tide roll away.
Otis Redding was 26 years old. 3 days later, sitting on the dock of the bay, the song he had just finished recording, was released. It became his first and only #1 single. He never heard it on the radio. He never saw it reach the top, but the world heard it, and it was everything.
I'm sitting on a darker
Number 3, Marvin Gaye.
so fine.
Marvin Gaye was not just a singer, he was a prophet, a lover and a protester, a broken man and a visionary artist who used his voice to speak to the deepest, most tender corners of the human soul.
Sexual healing, baby, is
Motown had polished stars before. Marvin Gaye transcended the machinery and became something timeless. He rose through Motown in the early 1960s, charting hit after hit, but it was his insistence on creating What's Going On in 1971 that changed everything.
for me. Sexual healing is something
Motown didn't want to release it. Marvin released it anyway. It became one of the greatest albums in the history of recorded music. The 1982 comeback album Midnight Love brought him roaring back with Sexual Healing, a Grammy-winning smash that showed his genius had not dimmed.
good for me. Whenever blue teardrops are falling.
He was in the midst of a triumphant world tour, reconnecting with millions of fans who had missed him during his years of personal turmoil and self-imposed exile in Europe.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, 'cause you do it right.
On April 1st, 1984, the day before his 45th birthday, Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father during an argument at the family home in Los Angeles. The music world went silent with disbelief. The man who sang about mercy and healing was taken in the most senseless, heartbreaking way imaginable.
I got sick this morning. A sea was storming.
What's Going On still plays like a prayer. Sexual Healing still feels like a balm. Marvin Gaye gave us the language to feel everything, and we are still using it.
Inside me.
Number 4, Sam Cooke.
It's been a long.
If soul music has a founding father, his name is Sam Cooke. The man had everything: the voice of an angel, the charisma of a movie star, the business mind of a CEO, and the moral compass of a leader.
A long time coming, but I know.
He was the first black artist to fully own his masters and his publishing. He was decades ahead of his time in every single way. Born in Clarksdale, Mississippi and raised in Chicago, Sam began singing gospel as a child, eventually leading the legendary Soul Stirrers.
A change gonna come. Oh, yes.
When he crossed over into pop in 1957 with You Send Me, he didn't just make a hit, he opened a door that an entire generation of artists walked through after him.
I go to the movie.
By the early 1960s, he was a full-blown phenomenon, charming television audiences, filling concert halls, and commanding the respect of everyone from Ray Charles to Bob Dylan.
And I go downtown.
But the pinnacle of his artistry was A Change Is Gonna Come, an anthem born from the civil rights movement that stands as one of the most profound songs ever written in the English language.
Somebody keep telling me no.
On December 11th, 1964, Sam Cooke was shot and killed at a motel in Los Angeles under circumstances that remain disputed to this day.
Don't hang around. It's been a long.
He was 33 years old. A Change Is Gonna Come had just been released. He never saw the movement he helped fuel reach its milestones, but his voice carried those words forward, and they still carry us.
A long time coming.
Number 5, Whitney Houston.
Strikes upon the hour and the sun begins.
There has never been a voice like Whitney Houston's. Not before, not since. She didn't just sing songs, she inhabited them, elevated them, transformed them into something that felt like a conversation with God. The greatest voice of a generation, perhaps of any generation.
To fade. Still enough time.
Newark, New Jersey gave the world Whitney Elizabeth Houston in 1963. Raised in the church, her mother Cissy Houston was a gospel legend, her cousin Dionne Warwick a superstar. Whitney was born into a lineage of extraordinary talent. When Clive Davis signed her to Arista Records, it was the beginning of an unmatched reign. Her peak may have been her 1992 recording of I Will Always Love You for The Bodyguard. A vocal performance so monumental, it became the best-selling physical single ever by a female artist. 7 consecutive #1 singles, multiple Grammy wins. She was not just a musician, she was a cultural institution, but fame carried a crushing weight. Years of personal struggle and the relentless pressure of being the greatest took their toll. On February 11th, 2012, the night before the Grammy Awards, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in her hotel bathtub at the Beverly Hilton. She was 48 years old. The world didn't just lose a singer that night, it lost the voice. And no one who ever heard her will ever forget what it felt like. Number 6, Luther Vandross. Luther. Vandross was the definition of elegance. His voice was silk over velvet, warm, massive, perfectly controlled. And his dedication to the craft of romantic soul was total and absolute. He was the architect of the quiet storm, the artist who made love songs feel like sacred vows. Makes life so sweet. Born in New York City in 1951, Luther first made his name as a session vocalist and jingle singer. His voice was everywhere in the late 1970s, even if you didn't yet know his name. When he debuted as a solo artist with Never Too Much in 1981, it shot to #1 on the R&B charts. Together we'll always be. A star was no longer rising, a legend had arrived. Over 2 decades, Luther crafted one classic after another. A House Is Not a Home, Here and Now, Dance with My Father. He won 4 consecutive Grammy Awards for Best R&B Male Vocal Performance. His concerts were events. His albums were guaranteed platinum. He was the undisputed king of grown folks R&B. In April 2003, Luther Vandross suffered a severe stroke at his home in New York. He never fully recovered. On July 1st, 2005, he passed away at the age of 54. His final album, Dance with My Father, a loving tribute to his late father, won the Grammy for Album of the Year in 2004, while he lay in a hospital bed, unable to receive the award himself. He never got to hold that Grammy, but every love song on every radio station for the last 4 decades carries his fingerprints. Number 7, Donny Hathaway. Ask any serious student of soul music about Donny Hathaway, and they will pause before answering, because his name carries a particular kind of reverence. He was a musical genius in the truest sense, a child prodigy, a classically trained pianist, a singer whose emotional depth was almost unbearable to witness. Born in Chicago in 1945 and raised in St. Louis by his gospel-singing grandmother, Donny arrived at Howard University on a fine arts scholarship and quickly revealed a gift that was extraordinary, even by the standards of an institution full of brilliant talent. His collaborations with Roberta Flack produced some of the most beautiful duets in American music history. Where is the love, the closer I get to you? These recordings with Flack were transcendent. On January 13, 1979, he was found on the sidewalk outside the Essex House Hotel in New York City, having fallen from his 15th floor window. He was 33 years old. His music endures as one of the most intimate, emotionally honest bodies of work in all of soul. Number 8, Teena Marie. Teena Marie was one of the most unique phenomena in the history of R&B, a white woman from Santa Monica who sang, wrote, produced, and played instruments with a depth of soul that left R&B audiences stunned and completely devoted. Rick James called her Lady T. The fans called her the Ivory Queen of Soul. Both titles fit perfectly. She signed with Motown Records in 1979 and was initially kept off her own album covers. The label feared that radio would reject her if audiences knew she was white, but the voice was undeniable. She was a prolific songwriter, a multi-instrumentalist, and a producer at a time when few women in any genre held the studio controls. Square Biz in 1981 established her as a bona fide force. But it was 1984's Lover Girl, a top 5 pop hit and #1 R&B hit, that introduced her to the widest possible audience. Fans of funk, soul, and R&B claimed her completely as their own. She had earned every inch of that love. Marie passed away on December 26, 2010, found unresponsive at her home in Pasadena, California. She was 54 years old. The grief from the R&B community was immediate, deep, and genuine, because Teena Marie wasn't just welcome in that world, she was a cornerstone of it. Number 9, Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman was a force of nature, 6 feet tall, impossibly glamorous, with a voice so deep and rich and full of feeling that it felt like it came from somewhere sacred. She was the kind of artist who made you feel she was singing specifically to you about something only the two of you understood. Born in Philadelphia in 1949, Phyllis came up through the jazz and cabaret circuits before landing a record deal and building a loyal, devoted following. She was an outlier in the best possible sense. Too elegant for one lane, too soulful for another, belonging entirely to herself and her own extraordinary vision. Her 1991 album, Prime of My Life, which included the stunning Living All Alone, was widely regarded as her masterpiece. While she was also performing on Broadway in Sophisticated Ladies and earning the kind of critical and artistic recognition that had long been her due. Fans who discovered her late became evangelical in their devotion. Behind the performances, Phyllis was fighting profound battles with depression and disillusionment with an industry she felt had repeatedly failed her. On June 30th, 1995, the same night she was scheduled to perform at the Apollo Theater, Phyllis Hyman was found unresponsive in her apartment. She was 45 years old. Her voice remains one of the most distinctive and emotionally complex in all of soul. Phyllis Hyman deserved every crown she never quite received. Let this be one of them. Number 10, Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass did not just sing to women, he communicated with them on a frequency that bypassed the rational mind entirely. His voice was deep, rumbling, dangerous, and tender all at once. It's like another love TKO. In the mid to late 1970s, he was arguably the biggest name in black music. Full stop. He came to fame as the lead vocalist of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, the voice behind If You Don't Know Me By Now. Though the full credit rarely reflected his contribution. When he launched his solo career in 1977, he became a phenomenon immediately. He created ladies-only concerts that became near-legendary events. Tickets sold out in hours. Albums like Life is a Song Worth Singing stacked up hits and platinum certifications. Close the door. Love TKO. Turn off the lights. He was at the absolute pinnacle. The most desired voice in soul, a man whose album sold millions without a single promotional interview. Then on March 18, 1982, Teddy was involved in a car accident in Philadelphia. He survived, but was left paralyzed from the chest down. He was 32 years old. What followed was one of music's most quietly inspiring stories.
Sense of time, have a change of mind.
Teddy came back. He recorded from his wheelchair. He performed. He lived. He finally passed away in 2010 from surgical complications. But that voice, that irreplaceable heat, nothing ever diminished it by a single day.
Taking the bumps and the bruises of all the things.
Number 11, Gerald Levert. Gerald Levert carried the weight of a dynasty and made it look completely effortless. The son of Eddie Levert of the OJs, Gerald had legacy running through his bloodstream. But he forged something entirely his own. His voice was massive, soulful, and built for intimacy. He was the heir to the quiet storm throne, and he wore the crown with pride. He first rose to fame as part of the family group Levert, alongside his brother Sean, scoring a massive hit in 1987 with Casanova, a silky, irresistible groove that topped the R&B charts and established them as one of the decade's premier acts. Gerald was the beating heart of the group's sound from the very beginning. His solo career only deepened his legacy. Baby Hold On to Me, a duet with his father Eddie, was a beautiful multi-generational moment of pure soul. Gerald continued recording prolifically into the 2000s, earning the devotion of an audience that never wavered and never left. On November 10, 2006, Gerald Levert was found unresponsive at his home in Cleveland, Ohio. He was 40 years old. An accidental overdose of prescription medications was determined to be the cause. He had been preparing new music. His death was a profound shock to the entire R&B world. His father's public grief echoed the grief of millions who had watched Gerald carry his family's torch with such grace and power. He deserved decades more. He gave us everything he had. Number 12, Nate Dogg.
I got love, I got love.
No voice in the history of West Coast hip-hop and R&B is more instantly recognizable than Nate Dogg's. The moment that smooth, honeyed baritone slid into any track, it elevated everything around it.
My homies who be rolling with me, play no game.
He was the secret weapon and eventually the legend, the king of the hook, the undisputed anchor of G-Funk.
No games, cause ain't nobody playing with me.
Born Nathaniel Hale in Long Beach, California in 1969, Nate Dogg came up alongside Warren G and Snoop Dogg in a close-knit crew that would help define the sound of 1990s West Coast music.
I got love, I got love for
He appeared on Dr. Dre's groundbreaking The Chronic in 1992 before making his own indelible mark on history. Regulate, his 1994 collaboration with Warren G, is one of the most beloved songs in hip-hop.
Cause on my family tree, I got love from the ghetto.
A G-Funk masterpiece that reached the top 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and introduced Nate's unmistakable voice to the world. From that moment on, everyone wanted Nate Dogg on their record.
But whatever, he was down before, and you still gonna be down with me.
Eminem, Snoop, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Ludacris. The list is staggering. In 2007 and 2008, Nate Dogg suffered a series of strokes that left him partially paralyzed.
I got game, cause the game was given to me.
His health declined over the following years. On March 15, 2011, he passed away in Long Beach at the age of 41, unable to record music for years prior.
Say my name, cause ain't nobody.
But open any playlist from the golden era of West Coast soul, and Nate Dogg is everywhere. rolling through the speakers like a summer evening, cool and eternal and impossible to forget.
They tighter than me. Give it up, give it up.
Every moment of heartbreak and healing where someone presses play and suddenly feels a little less alone. We don't mourn them, we celebrate them. We turn up the volume, we close our eyes and we listen. A medley of all 12 artists fades in and out. End card. Thank you for watching R&B Wonders.